How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. The Lakers currently have 14 players on their roster, with room to sign up to 20 going into training camp, and after adding some good youth to their team, with Kendrick Nunn, Malik Monk, and bringing back Talen Horton Tucker, they may want to finalize their team by adding a few more veteran players who still have a lot to offer any NBA team. And today, we'll be looking at 5 former All-Star players that are currently free agents and still looking for a team. All of these players have a lot of playoff experience, and that would be intriguing to a team like the Lakers, who are without a doubt in win now mode, and they would know what they would be getting with each of these players. The criteria for this video is pretty simple. In order to be included, the free agent has to have been an All-Star at least at one point during their career. That's pretty much it, and I am not ranking them in any particular order, but with that being said, let's get into my list. And coming in at number 5, we got LaMarcus Aldridge. While you might be thinking right now, well, didn't he literally just retire not that long ago? And yes, he did, but he is now contemplating coming back out of retirement after receiving a few positive medical opinions about his heart condition, and if he does come back to the NBA, he will definitely draw interest from multiple contending teams. Although he is now in the twilight of his career, Aldridge can still provide a lot of value to a team. He is still one of the more talented offensive big men in the NBA by being able to score from anywhere on the court. He can dominate from the post, he has a great touch from the mid-range, and has even become a very good three-point shooter. He shot nearly 39% from the three-point line in each of the past 2 years while attempting around 3 per game. He fits the modern style of the NBA and is very difficult to defend. And while he is not a great defender, he can still protect the rim a little bit. During his brief time in Brooklyn, after being bought out of his contract in San Antonio, he averaged over 2 blocks per game. Much like Blake Griffin, he showed a rejuvenated kind of effort on defense and proved he can still contribute on that end of the court when needed. And if paired down low with Anthony Davis, who can make up for a lot of his defensive inability, I don't think he would be that big of a problem. And then offensively, Aldridge and Anthony Davis could make for a dangerous front court pairing. But now moving on to former All-Star number 2, where we have Isaiah Thomas. If there is anyone that I'm rooting for to get back into the NBA, it would definitely have to be Isaiah Thomas. He is not that far removed from his prime, and without a doubt, is talented enough to be in the NBA. He does have clear limitations on defense, but he can make up for that from what he brings on offense. I'm not sure that the Lakers would have a big enough role to offer him on their team, but it would have been a crime to not include him in this video, and reportedly, they have even been in contact with him. I would not doubt if they gave him a training camp invite at the very least, in order to get a clear picture on what he can still provide to an NBA team. And if his performance during the Pro-Am games in Seattle have given any indication of what he can still provide, he can definitely still contribute to an NBA team. He is still nearly impossible to defend when he gets into a rhythm and is a very talented offensive player. I still cannot get over how dirty the Boston Celtics did him. If there is any team that quote-unquote owes him, it would have to be Boston. It would be great to see him return there and pick up his career on the team that he has his best years with. But overall, I just hope a team picks him up and gives him another chance because I find it incredibly hard not to root for him. But now moving on to number 3, where we have DeMarcus Cousins. I'm actually a bit surprised that no team has picked up Boogie, given how well he played during his brief time with the Clippers. He made an immediate impact on their team after joining them, even in limited minutes, and that translated into the playoffs too. Although he did not play until the second round, and then even when he did play, it was again in limited minutes, he managed to make an impact when he was on the court. He only averaged 8 minutes per game, but with that time, he put up nearly 8 points per game and shot fairly well from both the field and three-point line. While he will never be the player that he was before the injuries, Boogie is still more than capable of contributing to an NBA team, and with him seemingly getting better and better from the three-point line every year, he fits the modern NBA on offense, and if the Lakers were to pick him up, at the very least, they do know he can fit well on the court with Anthony Davis. I'm not sure they are really looking to add another center, but if they are, Boogie should definitely be on their radar. He could provide them with good depth and is kind of a mix between what they have with Dwight Howard and Marc Gasol, and by that, I mean that he can shoot from the three-point line and pass the ball like Marc, but he can also bring physicality down low like Dwight. Overall, he would be a good but not great option for their third center. But now moving on to player number 4, where we have Teague. Believe it or not, Jeff Teague was actually an all-star at one point in his career, and while it has been a little while since he played at that level, he still can provide valuable minutes off the bench and will be more than capable of becoming their third point guard. Teague has always been a good playmaker, but now is becoming a good three-point shooter too. He shot 43.9% from the three-point line this year and has shot over 37% from the three-point line during the past 5 years combined. With that, he has a lot of playoff experience and recently even became an NBA champion with the Milwaukee Bucks. He no longer is the good perimeter defender that he once was, but can still play average defense and be a good team defender, and if they are looking for a reliable third point guard who would not complain about minutes, Jeff Teague would be a good player to target. I think at this point, he knows he is not the player that he once was, and will be willing to play a limited role on a contending team again. And if Kendrick Nunn were to ever get hurt, Teague would be more than capable of stepping up to fill his role, and it's important that they always have a healthy backup point guard who is able to play off the ball and shoot from the three-point line. That provides him with a good change of pace player compared to Westbrook, who is not a good three-point shooter or off-ball player. But now moving on to the final player on our list, where we have Paul Millsap, probably the most productive veteran and former All-Star available. It's very hard for me to believe that no team has picked him up yet. He has had reported interest from multiple teams, including both the Lakers and Warriors, and I personally believe that he would be a great fit for the purple and gold. They have not found a true replacement for Markieff Morris yet, and Millsap would be more than capable of filling that role. He can provide everything that Markieff provided them on offense, while even being a bit better on defense. Neither are great perimeter defenders, but Millsap has always been a great team defender and physical player down low. He has quick hands and even blocks a good amount of shots for a player his age, and overall, he is a very high IQ player. You do not become a 4-time All-Star and play in the NBA for 15 years without having a high IQ, and for Millsap in particular, who has always been a bit undersized for a power forward, having a high IQ has helped him tremendously. He always seems to know what is needed of him and where to be on the court at the right time. He is still a valuable contributor on both ends of the court and will be a luxury to have to fill out their depth at power forward and even at center at times in a small ball lineup, and I believe he would be a very good pairing on the court with Anthony Davis. With that though, that'll conclude my list on 5 former All-Star free agents that the Lakers could pick up to help complete their team with. And while none of them are the players they were in their prime, they can still each provide value to a contending team, and I would personally not be mad if the Lakers picked up any of them. But what do you guys think? If you had to choose 1 or 2 players that were included in this video to add to the Lakers, who would you pick? And what position do you believe they need a little bit more depth at? Let me know your thoughts by commenting down below and we can talk about it there. That will do it for this video though. Thank you to everyone who took the time to watch until the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please remember to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn notifications to get notified right away when I drop a new video. And if you want to stay up to date on all my immediate thoughts moves on the NBA, be sure to follow me on Twitter too. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.